sometimes more is just more. Hot sauce on the burrito. Hey, it's Maria. Welcome to Goalie Training Pro TV, episode 17. Today we're talking about adding neural complexity to drills. What is that? Basically, the point of this escapade is going to be that just more is sometimes more, and not necessarily better. So, you know, almost any time I post a video on YouTube, sorry, my phone's ringing. Almost any time I post a video on YouTube of a drill, someone will be like, oh, I do one kind of like that, except I'm like jumping on a Bosu ball, and then my coach is throwing medicine balls at me, and then I am, you know, and it's like, okay, like, awesome, there's a lot going on, but it's a lot of chaos. And sometimes chaos is good, and sometimes, you know, you might get chaos like that once a season, and if you can come up with the save, it's worth it, right? But we also want to invest a lot of time in just having quality movement and adding layers of chaos to build on the competency. So it's like if I, you know, was trying to learn a new language and you just started off, you know, using the most advanced grammar and things like that, like I'm gonna really struggle to pick it up. Whereas if you just start by teaching me like, well, this is how you say hello, this is how you say hello, my name is, this is how you say where's the bathroom, you know, then start adding layers. It's exactly the same thing. So it has its place. Think of it like adding hot sauce to your burrito, right? You can always add more, but if you put too much, and I know, you know what, don't even do it, because I know one of you is going to be like, I like so much hot sauce, I just can put so much hot sauce on my burrito, it doesn't even bug me. I know, I get it, I'm just trying to make an analogy here, okay? So just relax. But if you put too much on off the bat, you know, it's pretty hard to scrape it off. So how do we do it? The first thing is proficient movement. So very few things drive me more bonkers than seeing neural complexity added to a motor's drill that there isn't a level of competence yet. So if we have, you see this in a camp or with young kids all the time, you know, they're in the ladder and they're around, and then the coach is throwing a ball at them. You know, their ankle position's terrible, they're not low, they're not staying square, they're all over the place. It's like that, the quality of that pattern has to be taught, you know, first. So we want to get that pattern squared away. The second thing is, not exclusively, but think about using visual cues as you go, so that it's something that the goalie has to pick up with their eyes and respond. So I'll give you an example. A really simple example is if we're doing a knee recovery lateral push. So I'm going to do a knee recovery, a lateral push, and balance. So that's the basic drill. So if I'm doing my knee recovery lateral push and I'm like this, I don't need neural complexity. I just need to practice and get it right. But if I can stabilize my torso nice and drive across and get that balance position, hey, that looks good. Now we'll add neural complexity. So we can do it just like this. The coach standing just out there, the goalie's in the ready position, and there's a coach, you're gonna give either here or here. So again, if it's here, I'm gonna come up, boom, and go that direction. So it's a visual cue I have to pick up on rather than saying right. And then it's like, oh, I hear it, and then it goes to my brain, and then it gets a response. This is something I see that I have to interpret and make a motor response to it. Now you're gonna say, well, I don't have a trainer or a strength coach who works with me. You can do a similar thing, and this is what I do with goalies that I train online, is we'll use, these are little cards, I got them in, you know, at Christmas time you get those cracker things and you go pop, and then they have a paper crown and a joke and a toy in them. This is my toy. But it's a little mini deck of cards. You can use a regular deck of cards. So you could say, whatever, you could say, okay, if it's a red card, I'm gonna go right. If it's a black card, I'm gonna go left. So then I just flip up the card. It's black, I'm gonna go left. You know, so again, it's a visual thing that I have to interpret and respond to. So then, if we went, let's say we did a ladder, so we do this in our ladder drills quite a bit. Let's say we're doing a ladder drill pattern, just a nice, until I forget what I call this. What do I call that? Crease, not a crease push. Anyway, I don't call it an arc. Anyhow, say we're doing that pattern. So the coach could just hold up fingers. So the coach could hold up one finger, and you're gonna call, so you would say 1, 3, 2, so the coach is just, and you're calling out the numbers. The coach could hold up different, this is a huge jump in neural complexity. So if you're just nailing this, boom, 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 a next step would be the coach could hold up one finger on each hand, or like fingers on each hand, and you add them together. So that's a 2. This is a 5. This would be 6, so you have to do that math in your head. Now I know what some of you are gonna do. Some of you are gonna pick the hardest one and go straight to it. And then I'm gonna be very, very disappointed in you. Don't do that. Another one you can do that challenges the motor pattern more. So not so much just the cognitive part, but the motor pattern is the coach can point backwards or forward. So if I'm coming here forwards, the coach points backwards. And then I have to keep my pattern, but I also have to keep my head up. You can do it if the sum is even, you keep going forward. If the sum is odd, then you go backwards. So, and you can see that would be a lot harder to have to sum and then decide what you're going to do. But you guys have to do the same thing on the ice. You have to know, okay, who's on the ice? How could this play develop? What are some of the possibilities while you're just focusing on your task at the same time? You can't be like, oh, let me think about this, you've got to keep going. Oh yeah, this is another one. So this is another cognitive load one, but, so we would have an athlete in the ladder, let's just say we're doing an in and out pattern. They have to count backwards from 30 by whatever number you shout out. So if I shout out a 2, 30, 28, 26, now I shout out 5, 30, 25, 20, and they have to keep going. See how I picked really easy numbers? Count backwards. I wasn't born yesterday. So my point is doing an agility ladder juggling, and going, see, I'm doing an agility ladder and I'm juggling. It's hard. Even if I'm doing agility ladder fast and juggling, it's hard. It's really hard when I'm learning. Then there is a cognitive demand, figuring out how to, use my hands to do that juggling properly. Once I get good at it, then it's just a dexterity thing. I kind of know how to do it. Maybe I make some fine adjustments, but it's not really that cognitively demanding. You're not really consciously having to process information and make decisions. So I like this way. It's really similar to when you're on the ice. So, or what I like when I see on the ice. It's like, let's say you're working a bit on rebound control. Well, maybe to start with, you know where the shot's coming from, and you're just trying to work on, with your blocker, with your pad, putting the puck where you want it. So you know that the shot's going to come from here, it's going to hit your pad and go where you want it, and you're going to track it. Well, then maybe it's like, okay, you're doing that really, really well. You got the feel for it. Well, now the shot might come from either side, and you're going to track it. Okay, that's working great. So now you're going to come from your right post, you're going to push across to your left post, and you're going to direct that puck into the corner. And then it might be like, okay, well, you don't know which side it's going to come from. So then, one of the shooters is going to shoot. You have to respond and put the puck where you want it. It's the same kind of thing. We do it exactly the same way off the ice, or we should. For yourself, if you're a coach, the movement quality has to stay excellent. So if we've got nice movement quality, and then we add in cognitive demand, and it starts to go haywire. You have to stop and just try taking half a step back, see if it cleans it up. I don't mind so much if it's a little slower to start with, as long as it's good. The speed will come. It is hard. It takes getting used to, but the quality of movement has to be there. Was I talking fast today, Sarah?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little I'm out of breath. Because the battery, Sarah's like, the battery says it has half. So I'm like, how's our battery?
Still good.
Okay. So the last thing for you guys, Turning Pro coaching program and camps are now sold out. And we have an awesome group. So I'll be sending details like in pictures and stuff from our camps. We have a camp in Detroit, Vancouver, and Toronto. Those are coming up in April and May. You can still apply if you wish. You'll just go right onto the waiting list. So that's fine. Plus, I'm going to see a bunch of you at the Rocky Mountain Mentorship in Breckenridge, the Network Goaltending Symposium in Nashville. I'm going to be out at the East Coast Goaltending Convention, and then back out east again for Goaltending Consultant Group and Stop at Goaltending Prospects Camp. And then there's a bunch of other stuff, like it's March and it's like, when am I ever going to be home this summer? But a bunch of other stuff we're filling in. So I'm pretty excited to tell you more about that stuff. But for now, that's Goalie Training Pro TV, episode number 17 on adding neural complexity to your training. Sometimes more is just more. Hot sauce on the burrito. See ya.